Everybody, today I'm going to start a tutorial on how I tumble tiger eye. I've got quite a bit of rough here. There's some gold tiger eye, a lot of red, and a lot of blue. Some people call it the blue hawkeye or blue tiger eye. Either way, it really turns out to be a really pretty rock. It's a hardness 7 on the Mohs scale. So it does take quite a bit of time. Everyone's going to do this differently. I don't really have a set time on my stage 1, and I don't necessarily have a set goal of what I want them to look like either. Every single rock, when it comes out of the tumbler, I will just look and see if it's what I like. Sometimes I want one perfectly smooth. Sometimes I like them to look more natural. I never know before I go in. It just depends on the mood I'm in, I guess. I don't really have a system. But my guess is some of these are going to run for 1 to 2 months, maybe even longer. It's going to be in my National Geographic hobby tumbler, which goes a lot faster than most any other tumbler. So when I say 1 or 2 months, that's really 3 or 4. So this is a 1 pound tumbler, but pretty much any barrel you want anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 full. With these harder stones, I'm going to do 2/3 just because it gives them more space to roll around and rub against each other. But yeah, I can usually get away with 1 bigger piece, and that's a pretty big piece per batch. Start loading up. I don't know if you can tell there, but that's about 2/3 full. And then we're going to go fill up the water until it's just right below the top of the rocks. About like that. Right there. And then this is a 1 pound tumbler and stage 1 grit. I always will just do 1 tablespoon per pound. So this is going to get 1 tablespoon of 6090 silicon carbide. And then it's going to go on my Nat Geo tumbler for 3 days. If you're using a lower tone or other popular slower tumblers, it's going to be a full week for each of these sets of stage 1. But we will see you in 3 days. Okay, so we've got to fill up our tiger eye. You want it to be about 2/3 to 3/4 full. It's a little under half. So I've got my rough here. You just choose a couple pieces. Probably got enough room for a fairly large one this time. So we'll do this blue piece. And maybe a couple little ones. A couple little gold pieces. And then that will be ready to move. Well, let's do one more. We'll do a red piece as well. And then we'll fill it up with water. You want the water to be just under the top of the rocks. Then this is a 1 pound barrel, so we're going to put 1 scoop 6090 silicon carbide. Okay, you can help me. And then we're going to put it on the tumbler for another 3 days. Okay, so it's been 3 more days on our stage 1 of our tiger eye. So we are going to go ahead and check that out here. Here's our slurry. So just like every time, I'm going to go through each piece here individually and just look and feel. This one's going to be really pretty, but it's really close but not quite perfect. As you can see, I've still got some I need to wear off there. So it's going to move on. This piece is looking pretty, but it's not even close. Same here. Really pretty piece. Same here, not close. This one is close, but still just has a little more right here, and then up here in the middle. Again, close but not done. Not even remotely close. That one's probably going to be in there another month, I would guess. And it may be too long where I have a full batch to go into the vibratory that will just get put back into my rough and for a later date. Same with this one. It's got a long way. That piece is ready to go. It's going to move on into my step 2, and I'm getting close to having enough. Also, after stage 1, I don't worry about letting the rocks dry, because the next stages are going to grind down anything. I've never had an issue at all with letting rocks dry. A lot of people will store their rocks in water. I don't do that, and I've never had a problem. Ooh, I really, really like that piece. Tiger eye is so cool. I guess some people call this Hawkeye, the blue tiger eye. We got that right there. Otherwise, that one was close. So this is one of those where it's borderline. If you're a perfectionist, there's a couple tiny things you may want to be worried about. But if you like a little bit of a natural look, I think this one would be perfect to move on to step 2. I'm going to run it 3 more days. Another beautiful blue piece. But yeah, I'm just going to finish going through each of these, and then I'll see you to reload the tumbler. Okay, so we're all loaded back in the barrel here. I'm going to add a couple more pieces because we have lost some volume in the barrel. I'm going to stick with smaller pieces. I've got some big ones in here still. And then something I often do, and I'm going to do it with Tiger's Eye, with hard rocks, I'll often add just a little handful of my random pile. These little rocks just get in there and help grind down harder rocks, help fill in some of the spaces in the middle. And then we're just going to put it on for 3 more days. Thanks. All right, here's a check on our Tiger Eye in the 1 pound barrel. Always looks like caramel. How they're looking. Really pretty blue. It's actually a little more gray than blue, but really, really pretty. Good sized piece. It's not even close though, it's going to be a long time. That's a gorgeous blue. So like always, I'm feeling and looking for imperfections. We've got one right there. That one's deep enough. I'm going to keep running this piece. It's close though. Another big blue. So this part that looks like it isn't smooth is, but this part has quite a ways to go still. A really pretty red piece. It's getting closer. Still not perfect. Same with that. So I don't think we're going to have any ready to move on this week. Yeah, this one might be. Nope, we got one little divot still. That one's got a few. That's a cool piece. I'm gonna go probably just one more round on this one. It's really close. I'll just show you real quick the rest, but I don't think any of these are going to be quite ready. We've got some cool pieces, but we'll check on them again in 3 days. Okay, so I've got the water loaded in the Tiger Eye and the little scraps we added last week. I'm going to put a couple more scraps in just because those seem to help this hard rock. And I might add 2 more just real little pieces. I don't have room for anything real big. Let's make it 3 little pieces. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of 60-90 grit. Run it for 3 more days and we'll check on you then. Okay, it's time to do our 3-day recharge on our Tiger's Eye. Tiger Eye, Tiger's Eye. Got that nice caramel slurry. We got some real pretty pieces here. I want to see one more cycle out of this piece. But man, is it pretty. Just got a little tiny bit left here. Nothing crazy though. This big piece has got a little ways to go. This is blue, Tiger Eye, or Hawkeye. Whatever you prefer, it's all the same. Same on this piece. Got some rough edges here. They're a lot better than last week though, the last 3 days. Got one little nick still on this one. So I'm going to keep it running. That piece is ready to go. Really pretty shine on it. I shouldn't say shine yet, but the lighting effect. Same with that piece. I think that one's ready to move on. That one's also ready to move on. Ways to go on this one. Got a lot of rough up here. Same with this piece. Same with that piece right there. Same here. Same here. That one's getting close though. Not even close. Not even close. Not close. Really close. Not close. Not close. Not close. Not close. Big ones there. That one's ready to go. And this one's got a ways to go still. So, just gonna fill it back up with water. Add a couple more rocks probably at this point. 1 scoop of 60-90 grit, and we'll see you in 3 more days. Okay, I've got the vibratory tumbler loaded for stage 2 in a round of Tiger Eye. These are just wet. So the process I do is I load the bowl. There's probably 2 pounds in here. It's nowhere close to full. And then I fill the rest up with just ceramic media. As long as it's full of ceramic, it really doesn't matter with this tumbler. Then I put on my rubber washer. This is my biggest pet peeve with this, is how long you have to screw this on. This one you want to make sure is quite tight. You want to see it start to compress the washer here, or else the whole thing will vibrate and quit shaking like it's supposed to. It won't spin the rocks like it's supposed to. And then I'm gonna go for round 2 is gonna be my 220, 120, and I do 2 scoops, which is 2 tablespoons for this stage. Just spread it around evenly. Two scoops might be overkill. I don't use that much on the rest of the stages, but it seems to give me the thickness I want and has just worked great for me. I'll run it for a minute just to make sure everything looks okay. It does, so I'll put on the lid. Then I will run this for 2 days. I will check it. It's late at night. I will check it in the morning, and then I check it when I get home from work. If it's gotten a little dry, I'll add a couple squirts, but I'll give you guys an update when I check it. This stage is when it usually will dry out the most. I almost never have to add water in the later stages. But we'll turn it on and get ready, and then we'll see you in 2 days. Okay, it has been almost 24 hours on the Tiger Eye, and I'm just going to show you the movement. I have not had to add any water to this yet, which is, it's not normal for it to be moving this fast after 24 hours. Normally I would have to have sprayed a few squirts of water, but it's still moving really well. I'll show you here. So I'm just going to put it all back together and keep it running. I'll check it again in the morning, and then tomorrow, after about 48 hours, I'm going to take it out of step 2. So it has been 48 hours on stage 2 of the Tiger's Eye. I have not had to add any water, which is really weird. I'm going to kind of show you the movement before we clean it. Really good. To clean this out, I'm just going to put a little squirt of dish soap in, and then extra water. Then I run it for about 5 minutes, and then we'll clean it out in the sink. Just helps it clean out really easy. So we're done with the soap bath. One thing to note, I do run each of the stages in this tumbler for 2 days. Each vibratory tumbler will probably be different on the timing. Okay, so we're going to wash these. Gotta rinse really good. Take a look at a couple. You're definitely feeling pretty good. So I'm just gonna off camera get these really clean. At this point, I would go through each one and with a toothbrush, and any of these cracks like this right here, like this right here, clean really good with a toothbrush before you go on to step 3, which is gonna be 500 grit. It just will really help make sure no grit from stage 2 moves on. So you got to be really vigilant. It takes quite a bit of time, but I'm not going to show that whole process on camera. But I have a little toothbrush, and then I have just a big soap brush, and I will also have to clean off the lid and my bowl very well with dish soap. Just make sure that all the stuff is gone before we move on to the next step. So I'll be back with you shortly. One other note here, it does become important in these later stages to keep the rocks wet all the time. And so when I'm waiting, once I clean one, I do keep the bowl full of water. Just so once I have one clean, it stays wet. And then you need to start with water anyway, but we can show that in a few minutes. But yeah, I'll get these cleaned. So here's something to show you. At some point in this last stage, this developed a big crack of a piece that's probably going to break off in one whole piece. And so I'm going to take this out and just put it back with my rough and put it back into stage 1 and start over with that, just so this piece doesn't break off and ruin the rest of the batch. Okay, so I'm done. I've got everything reloaded, rocks and ceramic. So what I do is fill it up with water, and then I just get a little corner of this, pour out all the water that's left. And then that seems to be about how much I'm gonna need water-wise to get me the 2 days. Okay, so for loading stage 3, I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon of borax, and then I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of 500 aluminum oxide. These are hard enough, I could probably get away with the 500 silicon carbide, but I'm not going to. And I'm not really exact on my measurements, just get an approximate. And then I'll just run it for a second, make sure everything's moving. Well, I gotta put my nut on first, or this will make a mess. But I'll just run it for a minute and then check it every 12 hours or so again for 2 more days. You can see why this nut always kind of annoys me. And I usually will just grab a towel real quick to really help me get that on there. Because when it's wet, it's pretty hard. We'll see you again in 12 hours. Okay, we are at 24 hours on the 500 stage or Tiger's Eye. I did add a couple squirts just to show you how it's moving. I may have added a little too much, but it'll be just fine. We'll check it again in about 12 hours. Okay, we are at 48 hours on our step 3 500 grit. Just want to show you how we're still moving before I move on. Still got really good movement. I'm going to go ahead and take these out and clean. I clean my hand just like I do any other time first, and then I'm going to go with a little extra step. You really want to go all in on your clean before the polish stage. A lot of people will just add a couple of tablespoons of borax and extra water and let that run for a couple hours. Some people call that a burnish or a cleaning stage. On a harder rock like a Tiger Eye, I do something different, and I'm going to show you that here in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to do a quick outside clean just to rinse these off. Got some good color. I'm going to take them in the house and show you the next step. Okay, so I have the Tiger's Eye all just rinsed. It's looking really nice. So for harder rocks, I use this sonic cleaner to clean. So anything quartzes, jaspers, agates, Tiger Eye, anything harder than a 6 or so, I use this on. Really soft stuff, I would worry that you could crack it, but with hard rocks I've had no issues, and I feel like it just does a much better job than just doing the borax spinning. And it's really important to get them super clean before you go into the polish stage. And so I'm going to go through each one of these with a toothbrush and then put them in the sonic cleaner just with some dish soap. I'll run that for 15 minutes and then we'll be back. So you just want to make sure before putting in a polish as well, you just really get these clean. I'll rinse them for quite a while. Just mix them up so there's nothing stuck. Just this is going to do. I also have these little wire baskets. Let's see if I can get here. That I keep the little tiny ones in to go into the sonic cleaner. I've got some different sizes here, but we'll see here how these work. I'll just show you as I turn this on, kind of you'll see how it works. And I'm going to run this for 15 minutes. But you'll see a lot of the stuff start to pop off the rocks. I don't know if you can tell, but this big blue piece right there, really you can see the grit coming out of that crack. Just kind of give you an idea of how this works. Okay, we are done with the cleaning. Just show you a couple pieces real quick. They are looking really, really pretty. And since I just got them completely cleaned, I'm not worried about them getting too dry. But I do have water here to get them going in my polish barrel. It's probably the best practice. But yeah, you can see they're really smooth and dull. And they will start to shine up really nice here in the last stage. Okay, so we've got all the rocks in. I'm just going to add my ceramics. And this is a polish barrel. If you have one, now's the time to use it. If you don't have one, I don't really think it matters, as long as you keep it extremely clean. Hi. Yeah, right there. Okay, so I'm going to fill this until the water's overflowing. See it over the top, and then I'll just use the lid and get all the water out. And so the idea is that everything is wet, but not soaking. And then everything's moist, and it's going to go in for 2 more days in polish. And then if I feel like it needs a little more polish, we'll do a 3rd day. But I think these will be great after 2 days. Okay, I've got my little 7-year-old helper here to load. So we're going to put 1 tablespoon of borax in. Go ahead. Okay, and then 1 tablespoon of polish. And then we're going to start it up. We'll show you there's the initial mix here. Go ahead and turn it on. Everything is set up and running, and we'll check on it every 12 hours like normal, but we'll be at least 48 hours on the polish. Okay, it's been 24 hours in polish for the Tiger Eye. I added a couple squirts of water, but just wanted to show you how it's still moving. Everything's still looking great. I'm going to give it 24 more hours and then wash a few off and check them and possibly be done. So we'll see you in 24 hours. Okay guys, we are at 48 hours on our final polish. Just wanted to show you it's still been moving good. I did add water one time. But I'm just going to add a little bit of dish soap here. And a little bit of extra water. And then just let that run for a couple minutes to clean off the rocks. It just helps them wash a lot better. And then we're going to go in and start our final clean and see how they polished. Okay, so we have the rocks just sprayed off and cleaned, nothing scrubbed. After the final polish on hard rocks, as explained before, we're just going to do 15 to 20 minutes with the heat on our sonic cleaner, and then we will get them dried off and show you the final results. Okay, so we have our cleaner loaded up. I just put in a little bit of dish soap and a tablespoon of borax to help clean this. If you don't have a sonic cleaner or you don't think that's the way to do it, you can also just add borax and water into your tumbler and run that for a couple hours, and it probably does the exact same thing. I just like this because it's faster. I do still use the borax method on soft rocks, but I'll just show you this starting up. It's always kind of fun to see some of the stuff start coming out of the cracks. Okay, we have the final batch out. It's all clean, and they're about 99% dry. So we're just looking at them for the first time. You each pick one that's your favorite to show me which one do you like the most. These all were done in their little National Geographic tumbler. We'll show you some favorites here. Maybe.
Hey, Dad. This is my favorite.
Really cool. And my daughter's favorites, gold piece. So we're just going to let them completely dry a little more, and then we'll show you each of them. Okay, here's the final product. Looks really, really nice. I think we'll show all of them, but just some of my favorites. This blue piece is really cool. Let's see, here's a cool red one. And these are completely dry. They took a really great polish. That one's really, really pretty. Gets a lot of the cool light tricks these get. This batch I did leave some imperfections. That may or may not be your thing. I do it different with every batch. Another blue piece. I really like the blue ones. This piece turned out really cool. This one isn't as pretty as the others, but it's really unique. It's almost got a champagne color. It's kind of the ugly duckling that I think turned out really cool. Another red. And that looks rough, but it's not. That's all just under the surface. Let's see. Here's a really pretty piece. Blue. Just some small flat pieces. They get really cool. This one's really unique. It also looks like a bunch of fractures, but it's not. It's perfectly smooth. Really pretty piece. This one's cool. It's got kind of a diagonal line through it. We'll just look at a couple more. Really, not one of them turned out bad. They all got a great shine. Here's another red piece. It's kind of interesting. This one's really cool. And then we got some of these little ones. I run just little pieces that break off of stage one, and sometimes they can make really cool jewelry. I don't know if we can focus on that. That would be really cool for like a ring or an earring. Really cool little pieces. Here's another good example. They just get interesting. A little tiny one. And we'll just show one more and then call it good on this very successful batch. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I really like how these turned out though. It was really pretty rock to do. But thanks for watching.